Hello, friends of Private Universe. Welcome to part one of the Margarita Hour 2020. Today we have two guests, Sebastian and Grant. They spoke about rugby league, of course, UFC, and Batman.
I wouldn't say. I can see the argument that people put in about robbery, but I don't think it was, because I feel like as much as the ref one-sided it, they still gave that try to the Panthers. So I feel like we're just talking about the grand final, and as a summary, Seb, the way that I would put it, I can understand. I can understand how people could say robbery.
Mm-hmm. I
wouldn't, because
respect goes to.
Oh, they put in more work. Obviously,
goes to Storm.
You can't concede tries and play victim.
I think a lot more could have gone to Panthers. In a normal scenario,
there was some
Panthers didn't
calls.
do enough for them to get the right calls. For instance, there were mistakes made that they shouldn't have made, and they did go the Storm's way. But you can't ever
kick out made.
They have to do enough to not let that happen. There were errors thrown. They just didn't look like you could tell the big situation got to them.
But I feel like even with small calls.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, when Crichton made that line break and then they called it back for a forward pass or whatever.
I was way too drunk. I don't remember.
It was.
Run it through me, the play.
It might have been Mansour, and he passed it, and it came off a Storm player, bounced forward, and then Crichton picked it up, line break, and he was heading straight for the line.
Mm.
And then they called it back, said knock on. So in reality, what it was is, I think it was like fourth tackle. He passes it. It's a knock on from Storm. In reality, this is. Knock on from Storm, Crichton picks it up. He gets probably 10, 15 metres, 20 metres out.
Yep.
And it's a set of 6. Not only does that clean out the first half and end it at like 18-0, potentially they get a try. And it shifts the confidence for the next half.
That's right.
That's the different. Those small plays.
That's the thing people don't think about.
That's the thing about the small plays.
People, exactly, and it's good that.
But then you got to think about the gifted try that we got.
People don't take into consideration that side. It still would have been this. It still would have been 20. But in sport, momentum's bigger than score. When it's like you can be 2-0 at half time, then they get a goal.
Here's the biggest thing. Soccer's a good one because
let me explain.
One goal is massive.
Let me explain something. Soccer. You go into halftime 2-0, right?
You're going in there with your head down.
When that team comes back, like if you go in there confident, when you come out, you're lethargic, and that team gets that early goal, and you're 2-1, you are in my head with the momentum. You're still ahead. They've got the momentum, and I guarantee you get that second goal, you're level before you know it.
Here's the thing: Storm had a mad first half and got gifted every penalty their way.
Yeah,
and then they came out second half and didn't score a try. and Panthers.
Yeah, but to let it get to
score 20 points. Yeah, but the reason why you could argue the point why I got to 26. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think you can definitely argue the point of robbery, but I would say Storm won. I wouldn't even say, fuck that. And be upset about it.
I can't argue robbery. Like, it's easy for the person that's not, So a lot of it, I think Panthers put themselves in the position for
they made a lot of
50-50.
mistakes.
Listen, they put themselves in the position for the 50-50 decision.
Yeah.
Okay, the 50-50 decision didn't go their way, but the difference is that a clinical team don't even let it get to that. It's 100%. We can't even get to that. It was these 50-50 balls, the 50-50 pass, it was one after another show. It was the nervousness, but in the same sense,
it's momentum. It's taking away momentum.
They could have gone the other way, and these young kids lose confidence.
But realistically, it's the same as UFC in the sense that you could say Storm's title holder, and the only way that you're going to beat them is by knocking them out. You can't win by points. That's the way the Panthers should have looked at that situation. Is you got to fuck them up and win 42-0.
To Panthers' credit, though, I feel like
came back hard, bro.
They came out, even though they made the mistakes and I was nervous, they came out not trying to change the game and try and do, like, imagine them coming out trying to play like Storm and be clinic and like textbook. But they came out trying to play the way they played, the way they got there. A bit fancy, a bit flick. They didn't, you know what I mean? The occasion did get to them in the sense they couldn't execute it, but they still played the football that got them to that stage. They played the fancy football, the flamboyant, the ego sort of thing driving them. So to credit to them for that, but the difference was they couldn't execute those movements because they were in the bigger stage, whereas those movements get executed by someone that's been there from experience. And I think that's what it comes to.
Experience is definitely a part.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, you go against someone. The way you should give it, you'd think the rest would give it to someone deserves it. Seasonally wise, Panthers deserve that win.
Okay.
If you look at the whole season as a whole, Panthers deserve the win. But they got the pressure.
Answer me this after when you come back. Answer me this then. Okay. As a Panther fan, non-biased, however, I'm a sport fan. Why does it always seem though on that win streak that it was, even as a Panther fan, why does it seem that it was like almost a fluke? Like you were, oh my God, it's a 10. Oh my God, it didn't for some reason feel like it was. Yes, it was deserved to a sense, but it didn't feel like Panthers. You know what I mean? Like even though it was that 1 year, but obviously they earned it. But you were always almost waiting for them to lose.
To lose, yeah. That's what it was. But I feel like that was it was an expectation for when's it going to end.
But do you know what I mean? That doesn't happen.
And what's a better time? What's a better time for them to?
Man City, Sheffield.
Is that soccer now?
Yeah, live.
But that's the thing.
What's happening now? Is it
live? Yeah.
Not good.
Why are you talking?
I'm just listening and learning from you two.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I'm a sports fan. I'm a sports fan. But you have to pick a team. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's basketball, NFL, NBA.
Do you think it to some extent?
Football, UFC.
Let me ask you something, naughty people. Carlo.
Or the naughty people in the world.
How important, right, is a fan's support to a club determined by the location they live in? So,
it's at least 80%.
Okay. So, do you have more respect for fans, for people that live in Penrith that support Penrith, as the people that, do you know what I mean? So, there's obviously a reason why a fan follows a certain team. There's something in their life that's happened with their granddad or they're taking the game.
Yeah.
How much do you think location plays on that? Do you think it's almost a given right that a fan is automatically should be
if we go through the sports?
Yeah.
NBA, what's your team?
My team?
Yeah.
NBA?
Yeah.
In America?
Yeah. So basketball.
What's
your team?
We were saying before, it's Lakers.
And reason?
Because I followed LeBron there from Cleveland.
And why do you follow LeBron? Like if you break it down.
If I break it down, to be honest, I think I was in Brazil and he was playing for Miami in the finals, and I learned about him. Ethan told me about him. It was actually probably the first person I learned about and the hype about. I guess hype has a lot to do with it too for the big players. But
it's like McGregor, isn't it?
It's like
same as McGregor.
So, yeah.
But that's what I mean with sports. It's like the way that I see it is you can pick anyone, and I feel like UFC is a good point to pick on because it's one person, so it makes it easier. So for instance, everyone fanned hard over fucking McGregor. Massive hype around him, and he built. Fuck yeah, he did. He made it massive. He took before McGregor. Before McGregor. It was Ronda Rousey.
I'll be honest. I didn't even watch UFC fight until it was McGregor Aldo. And I didn't even know what it was. And people dragged me to the club. You have to come see this.
It's insane, eh?
And I go, McGregor, what?
13
I go,
seconds.
oh my God, watch this guy. Then suddenly I'm watching
It's an
YouTube videos. I'm
introduction.
watching his previous fights. I'm watching him his things. And I go, oh my God, this McGregor guy's a mad cunt.
Yeah.
Then the perfect timing where everyone's, and I'm not trying to say anything, but there was a lot of people in my position where there were the original UFC people who followed, then there's people like me who jumped on the thing then.
The bandwagon,
who were influenced, which aren't now really bandwagons, who are now probably originals. But suddenly you've got maybe 50, maybe even more, maybe 70% of people haven't actually followed UFC, and they're sitting in a pub, they're watching this fight card who's a great fight card, and they know this McGregor bloke versus this Aldo, and they know about the hype, his ex-champion, blah, blah, blah.
And then Aldo hasn't lost in 10 years.
And then how does McGregor do it? The only way, this is the moment.
Wait, is this a conspiracy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. How does McGregor, everyone's there, hasn't watched UFC,
Handle
watching
it.
the hype, first thing, 10 seconds in, he knocks him out.
Yeah, crazy.
And like he lived, that was the moment where all those people go, oh my
Yeah,
God. He's
that's
literally,
right, that's right.
This is where he grabs it from and goes,
that's what I was
is he a
about to
shit
say.
talker? Is he not?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's actually knocked him out. McGregor.
But then
that is the moment that changed UFC.
That's what I'm saying. Like people, they jumped on the bandwagon, and then their mates pulled him into this situation where it's just like, bro, you have to see, he's about to fight for the title.
Yeah.
Watch it. Like the situation that you went through, he floors him in 13 seconds
right.
and gains millions of fans. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then from that, right? People then look into the backstory of this McGregor bloke.
Yeah.
And they say, who is he? Let's watch his other fights. Is it? Why is there hype?
But it could be before that too.
But then they
lead
see,
up to that.
But then they see in the change rooms before that fight against Aldo, he's practicing the exact same moves. He's calling out the fight. He's like, he's gonna overreach, and I'm gonna hit him with that left hand, and bang, he's gonna be floored. And then he's practicing that same thing in the change rooms, 30 seconds before the fight. And he goes into it crazy.
Yeah.
And it's insane. But what I'm saying is, that's where that sense of, like, I guess ownership, where you pick a team, or you pick a fighter, or you pick one person, whether it's
and nothing will change your mind.
And nothing will change your minds.
That's right.
And then they come up against someone.
UFC is good for that.
They come up against someone like Khabib, who's just
Love Khabib.
He's such a nice guy, humble.
I admit this.
But
how much has he gone from the most hated to the most loved person in the world right now?
The reason I'm about to tell you the reason why is because McGregor was this hype train, and I'm a McGregor fan, and I'm a product of this problem as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big McGregor fan. He's fighting against this dude that's at the time 20-0, and who was a fanboy of McGregor before that.
Who was?
Khabib.
Was he?
Massive fanboy, buying his shirts, asking for signatures, everything like that. Crazy.
I didn't know that.
Massive fanboy, and then goes up against him.
Was he really?
Massive fanboy.
So,
bro, like biggest.
Wow. So okay, all right.
He was turning up to the press conferences, probably asking fucking questions, standing back there, and then waiting for him out the back. He bought his shirts from the UFC and stuff like that, and took photos with him. Like, he was a fanboy. But like, I mean, that's the way that I look at it. You might not be fanboy. You might just idolize someone that's the king of the game at the time.
Yeah.
So like, that's the way it works in those areas.
Yep.
But like what I'm saying, you get all these fans of McGregor jumped on the hype train, and then you get Khabib, and no one really likes him. He's sort of like a boring fighter. He just holds.
Before people respect that style, I feel like now they understand.
Why take damage if you don't have to?
And I don't think now I can respect that. It's almost exciting when he gets to the ground. The strike, like if you're watching, okay, there's other fighters.
Have you ever watched a Khabib fight?
Then you're watching Khabib fight, and you're like, oh my God, when's he going to get to the ground? And you're in awe. Like, this guy, I remember, and I'll admit, when I was watching McGregor, I didn't know much about Khabib and how good he was, and people telling me. And obviously, I'm come from the last thing where McGregor's McGregor, and he's got this hype train, and everyone's like, oh, Khabib's boring, but he's good. And then this is where it changed from McGregor. The whole, how he dealt with this. The only player, Khabib, humble Russian, Muslim, very respectful. Never bit to Connor, and Connor had the whole hype trying to go at him. And when you saw,
he bit hard.
Wait, let me go. Where you saw it, the kind of thing. Khabib always, and now you see it back. Everyone understands Khabib now, how respectful he was. But at that moment, then no one understood him. But now you see, no, Khabib was right. Connor going at Khabib. He always been respectful. But the weigh-in, when they were just about to fight, and you could see Connor trying to get him, and he actually snapped and tried to kick him. That's when you knew, actually, you know what? Khabib's got the Connor. He snapped, and he tried to make Khabib snap, and he couldn't.
I agree and disagree in the sense that I feel like he got to Khabib.
Do you think though?
Yeah, 100%. I really think that he.
I think he fell into Khabib's trap of the humble.
Wait. The reason why is because it works for everyone else except for someone that's that humble.
Money wise, business wise, it worked for Connor.
No,
to win the fight. Not a chance.
Absolutely. No.
If anything, it got him fucked up.
Look at it in this sense. Every other fighter is hot-headed. Every fighter that Connor came up against, he got into their head. He rattled them. And Aldo's a good example. He was all over Aldo the whole fucking time. He was just in his head. And then he came into the fight, overreached, got knocked out. He did the same thing to Khabib and got inside. I would 100% say that he got into Khabib's head. But it worked in the opposite way.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like I reckon it's the only person.
It's in a way where these guys, like, if you look at these guys like this,
it gave him push. It gave him motivation to fuck him up.
Muslim respect, but when the way he talks, that I don't know if you know, if you're listening, pretty much, long story short, UFC, Conor McGregor. You've heard of Conor McGregor, big fighter, blah, blah. Khabib's the undercover ultimate now. So back in the day, no one thought he was very wrestler, blah, 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 like boring to watch, but gets the job done. And they matched up. So the opposite fighters.
And he is boring to watch.
But he's a genius.
He's
in the same sense.
He's very boring to watch if you're a casual fan of the sport. If you're a hardcore fan. And it's like jiu-jitsu fighters.
So the best way to explain, everyone loves to watch people fight. So you go in the ring, UFC.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about UFC, so explain it to me. Let's see.
For layman's, we'll try and be quick. Layman's, everyone loves striking, people getting hit, right? The thing about UFC is obviously the sport can go to the ground. 3 5-minute rounds. So imagine...
If it's a championship, it's 5 rounds.
You've got strikers types, which are hand-to-hand, kickboxers, Muay Thais, and then you've got your wrestling, and then you've got your jiu-jitsu. So obviously when it gets to the ground, the sport keeps on going. So you can be tumbling on the ground. But if you don't understand the sport, when it gets to the ground, it looks like it's just
holding and
2 guys rolling.
Yeah.
But if you love the sport and you understand it, that's actually when it's the tactics that come involved on the ground, these positions, these reversals. You've got people almost getting an armbar and then reversing it to this, and it's actually more. It's actually better to watch,
especially if you've trained jiu-jitsu. It's insane. Yeah. It's like a completely different ballgame. Same as people that train wrestling and stuff like that.
So it's a lot more technical than what it looks.
A lot more technical, a lot more physical. It makes the wrestling now makes the striking look like almost the easy part, because you can imagine 3 5-minute rounds or 5-5-minute rounds in a championship. Everyone can take hits, boom, boom, boom. Like you can only avoid someone for so long. You miss it, you slip a jab, boom, ground. And then to get up from the ground's a lot harder than, say, missing a jab on the hand, on your feet. So then you've got 4 minutes on the ground. And that's where people really are starting to show. So before, what happened was people didn't respect it. They hated it. It's on the ground, it's boring, get them up.
And the reason why is because it's casual fans casual fans that watch the sport that just want to see fucking crazy knockouts.
They don't actually.
They just want to see people sleep.
They're not sports lovers. They're not respectful of how much work and the technical ability that goes into that. So pretty much what happened over the weekend was undefeated champion, and you've got to think of an MMA unheard of. 29 fights, 0 losses. Khabib, Russian Muslim, who never what he's done, never obtained the credit probably until now.
And to add to that,
29-0.
And to add to that quickly, there's boxing 40-0s, right? But they select they pick the fighters. UFC doesn't do that. You have to take the top contender because they give out interim belts and stuff like that. So the next person in line,
you don't
get to choose. They have to fight that person.
It's a different breed of fighter. It's actually these people love fighting. He's gone through every single one in the division. Not even I reckon I could have said,
but
arguably barely even tested the ability. He's lost in his career. He's lost 2 rounds of rounds. Not rounds.
He hasn't lost a fight. He's lost 2 rounds in his career, and one of them was to McGregor, and the other one was to Quinta.
So the best way to get to is if you watch an interview on this, the way he's Russian, how he speaks, he gets people yelling. He's the most humble, respectful of the sport. People will be saying all this about him. He goes, I watch you fight. You're a very good fighter. But I look forward to looking in the anything to avoid
worst Russian accent ever.
I look forward to fighting you in the ring.
That's like
I don't know. I like a vodka.
But what? That's not Muslim though. That's like more.
No, but Muslim's not an accent. He's Russian. He's still Russian.
Yeah, but he's like.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm being racist here.
No. Don't worry, Khabib's not listening.
Khabib.
Anyway, long story short, this guy, the videos come out of this guy, 5 years old. He was wrestling chained up bears in Russia in the snow. Not a joke. His dad was an Olympic wrestler. Long story short, after he beat Conor McGregor, this is what he's like. He was fighting Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor started saying things about his wife.
Oh, okay.
His wife is wear a hijab. So his dad's an Olympic wrestler and he's the most, after when I finished, you understand how respectful he is. His dad's an Olympic wrestler and he's very family.
Roman.
Proper wrestling. He doesn't hurt, he doesn't like.
Greco-Roman.
Doesn't like hurting people. He's about fully fight.
His father.
Culture. No, him and his father. So, long story short, Conor McGregor came out in press conference. Conor McGregor's the moneymaker. Show. Bang. You fucking.
Is he still fighting?
Conor?
Yeah.
He's a multi-billionaire now. He's lost the fight. He's too high. But he will come back for once a year for 200 mil. It was Khabib versus him for the championship. Khabib was the champion. Conor come out doing everything. Anyway, he couldn't get to Khabib. Khabib just laughs sort of thing. Doesn't bite. And he started saying things about his family and said something about his wife in the hijab, saying something about a garbage can or something. Really? And that's where he fucked up. Anyway, in the fight, this is how good he is. And Conor is still one of the greatest fighters in the world. It was the second round. They were fighting. Conor did good for a bit. Then he goes to the ground. And how good he is. These guys are 70 kilo. He's never ever been beaten in a wrestle in the gym that he trains at with 100-something kilo guys. He's how good Khabib is at wrestling. And he's never been, even DC's never even taken him down. So this is how good he is. They get people in that fight him. So anyway, second round, middle of the championship, it got to the point where he's fucking Conor up. He's against the ropes. And there's before that, there's footage of him talking to opponents. He's in his head. He's bashing him. He's going, I deserve the title shot. You know this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's actually a nutcase.
He's like, he goes, hey. He says, give up.
He goes, listen, give up or I hurt you. Boom. He goes, I deserve the title. I deserve the shot. I deserve it. And he's fucking, and they're just like, I deserve to be champion.
He's got him in a situation where they just, their arms are locked. And he's just bashing them and he's like, just give up. I'm the only reason why I'm doing this is because I deserve it. I deserve it.
He's saying
I'm meant to be here.
It was recorded on the thing. And in Conor, that's what he got him in the thing, and he could have submitted him, and he's going, no, now I'm not. He's going, see, he goes, I'm not finished you. Now you suffer pain. He could have, because he's
Here's
armbar, you can tap him out, choke him out, they fight out, and he goes, "No, I'm not finished you yet. You suffer." Boom. And these are professional fighters in the ring. But fair enough, he's saying. And then Connor is saying on the phone, he goes, "It's just business. It's just business." Like he's saying mid-fight.
And the reason why he says that is because it builds revenue.
Yeah. So Connor's business. He didn't mean to be disrespectful. Khabib is just pure.
I think
family,
he definitely
culture fight.
He meant to be disrespectful, but he just he in his head he thought he's going to walk away from this after the fight. We're going to say blah blah.
Let me explain Khabib. The championship fight. Everyone watching around the world. He finishes Connor. Connor taps out. Middle of the ring. This is live television because obviously they both got their corners. Khabib walks over to Connor's corner after he just been in a fight. He jumps on the top of the cage.
This is
jumps
Dylan
out
Dennis.
into Connor's corner and just starts fighting.
And the reason
middle of UFC television after the fight because for him he didn't care. It wasn't even about
That's the reason.
It's not even about the fight or the money.
That's what went
for him. It's about respect, culture, and
that's what went wrong.
What you say, because he's not about that.
Because a lot of people for Connor, a lot of things that worked for him was that talking shit got into their head, and they fought aggressive. But for Khabib,
Russians,
it was completely different. It was more like I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting for myself. I'm fighting for my culture, my family. I'm fighting for everything that's built me to this point.
Before it was a fight for UFC, and these are Russian. It wasn't even he didn't even give a fuck about the fight in that fight. He wanted to make a point. As soon as the fight finished, he's already done 2 rounds. He jumps in the thing and jumps in the other corner and starts. And all these corner, mind you, are UFC fighters. He didn't jump in a corner with like his dad and stuff. These guys are other UFC fighters who are yelling shit, and he just starts going. But all his corner jump in the ring and start bashing Connor. This is live television.
And Connor feeds them all. And Connor fucks them all up. Good.
He did better.
After a 3-round fight where he's getting someone sitting on top of him the whole time, taking his gas tank. These people fresh as shit coming from Khabib's corner, jumping out. Yeah. He had 3 of them in at a time and he's cracking all of them.
See, Khabib jumping out was all right. But them jumping in the ring when he's like this, jumping in the ring, he didn't have seconds. But they ratted him, and he actually did better in the other fight.
Crazy.
Like the guys coming from the corner, he's fucked.
And he just at the end of the fight, he goes,
from the Russians.
They won the battle, but we won the war. But at the same time, as Khabib can't take anything off him from that fight, crazy. However, Conor just did a boxing fight against Mayweather. Like,
yeah, but no excuse.
No, I'm not saying excuse. However, imagine you're hungry as shit for a sport, and it's you live and breathe that situation. And then you do a fight, and you get paid $100 million. You're just fucking partying, and then you're gassing someone else up.
But that's how they lose it.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The money. Once you lose the hunger, that's what I always say. There's one thing getting to the top, and there's one thing staying. I don't
think a year prior to that fight that they had, I don't think Khabib wins that.
I think Khabib still wins.
I don't think it's the same reason why Khabib is ditching that fight altogether. He doesn't want to fight him again because he took a round off him.
No.
Watch the fight, bro. Watch the fight back. I'm telling you right now. Watch that fight back. The switch ups and the shit that Conor was doing in the holds and shit.
Do not tell me Khabib wouldn't fight McGregor again because of that. I'm telling you right now.
Because he's scared. Because he's scared.
No, he's beaten it. But think about it from his perspective. McGregor's this hype train. He's beyond that. He doesn't want to give McGregor that hype anymore. He's beaten him. Think about for him. He's a respectful fighter. He's like, why you want to give this show pony? They want McGregor to win, and he's actually like, fuck this guy.
Okay. I agree.
I agree. If it was any other fighter, I would agree with you. But it's Khabib. You got to know how he thinks. He goes, why you still talk to me about McGregor? I fuck this guy. You know, he would be. He doesn't care about it.
It's I reckon 50% that. And the other 50% was, if I lose, what happens?
No, I don't think he's about that at all.
I reckon he's about it. Because it's like this. He's 29-0 at the moment.
Done.
And he's finished. And the reason why he's done is he promised his mum.
Yeah, that's what the end of the story is. This Khabib, he had a fight a week ago, which everyone was watching, because now everyone's aboard they respect Khabib. They're bored how he fights.
And that's the thing.
It's
When you have a hype, you also have the same amount of haters. So when you lose a fight, that person that you lost to gains those fans that hate you. And that's a lot of Khabib gained a lot of fans from that situation, from beating Conor.
But this is what happened in the long run, Dad. Listen, Khabib, after that, everyone respects him. So what happened? He was having a big fight. Everyone loved to watch him. His father, who he's taught him since he was a kid, the only person that's really coached him and brought him to be who he is and how respectful he is to the family, died of coronavirus 3 months before the fight. And he came out, and everyone's thinking, fuck, imagine Khabib, like, what's he going to be? Like, but you'd be scared to verse him anyway. He versed this guy, Justin Gaethje, probably the last person he could fight that would have a chance. But realistically, it was a mockery. He ate those punches that everyone said was going to knock him, and he still made a mockery.
Do you think?
But let me,
who had a better chance?
Okay.
Gaethje or Ferguson?
Gaethje.
No,
I watched Gaethje versus Ferguson. Gaethje, easy. Did you see the punches Khabib took? But listen, the best part about Khabib fight, if this doesn't explain Khabib, Gaethje, very good fighter, very heavy hands, came out to Khabib, had a fight. Anyway, Khabib stopped him in the second round. DC said this, Khabib didn't, because Khabib would never, he's so humble. He said
this is a lie, by the way.
No, it's not. About him going to armbar him.
Yeah, that's a joke.
No, it's not.
Prove it. The reason how
he was in an armbar. He was in a position.
He was either going to break his arm or swap positions.
Let me explain Khabib. Let me explain the story, then you have your point. This is Khabib, for example, in a title fight. This is the fight that he had on the weekend. He was facing a fighter. In second round, he had him in a position where he could submit him, and he was going to go for armbar, but he knew that he heard earlier in the week that Justin Gaethje would never tap. So obviously, when you're in an armbar, if you never tap, you can snap someone's arm and can't fight. But if you go for a triangle choke or anything that makes you choke or you can't breathe,
you get a stoppage.
Then you pass out and can't. You know what I mean? And you actually don't have any health injury. Say I get you in an armbar. I can snap your arm.
Yeah, and you're out of a job.
You gotta listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just looking at your thing from Instagram.
He's too invested in his.
No, but you gotta understand.
Too invested in his.
All those you won't understand Khabib.
Yeah, well, I don't know much about UFC, so it's good to explain it. Yeah.
So explain. Imagine this fighter in a fight. He has last weekend. He has the option of he's versing his fighter. He has the option. He finally gets into the ground. He has the option of taking him to an armbar. Yeah. So what happens in armbar? He heard earlier in the week the guy will never tap. So if you get in an armbar, you can snap their arm before they even chat.
Right.
You can end it. That's it. And they don't fight for years. Or you choke him out. In a choke, they pass out and that's it. There's no health benefits. They pass out. They get up. Yeah. So he was going for the armbar. He nearly had him in an armbar. And he actually, in mid-fight, he swapped it to a triangle choke to tap him out because he said that he remembered that he said he wouldn't tap out. He didn't want to injure him. Right. And he said that his family were watching.
Okay, that's good.
So imagine being so good that
you can change
and respectful that you're mid-fight, you can finish the fight and go, no, I don't want to hurt him.
And he won.
I don't want the risk of hurting because he respects him as a fighter.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he said it after. He said how much he respected him.
See, I believe that that's fan fiction. And the reason why is because you're in a fight. I feel like he might not have thought that he had a stronger. He might have felt like he had a strong position. However, he could have gotten out of that, and he could have had a better position, been in that triangle choke. And if he slips out of that, maybe he has that top control.
Maybe, but would you put that past anyone but Khabib to do that? I'm just saying. Okay, if that story may not be true, but if it were, don't tell me Khabib, he would actually do that. I'm telling you, right? Look at him.
I feel
He
like
wouldn't slap
that's
someone's arm. He's not there to hurt people.
No, and I agree with that. However, that's a lot of time to think that over.
Yeah, but it's instant. But
Do you know what I mean? Like that's a. I feel like it's a great story, and it publishes him in the way.
Is Khabib listening right now?
It publishes him in the way that he deserved to be recognised. Do you mean? Because he is very respectful.
Said this. Remember,
but DC's on his camp. That's what I'm saying. DC trains with him. So
DC's
why would he?
Never even.
But why would he not build up that hype alongside someone that's exactly the same?
Listen, I'm with you. It sounds bullshit. But
I don't feel like that.
One guy that could do that, don't tell me it wouldn't be him. Admit that. For the respectful fighter he is, the way he spoke about Gaethje after.
Especially in... But you saw what Gaethje did that straight after.
Yeah.
Gaethje went up to him when he was laying on the ground crying. He said, I'm sorry for your loss. And
by the way, Dad, quickly, after the fight, he without even... Gaethje gave him a good run, but really, you could see he could keep on going. And he come out and he was the first fight after his dad died, and he said, listen, he took off his gloves. He goes, I'm not fighting no more. He goes, my mum...
Who's not fighting no more?
Khabib.
That's it. He's
undefeated,
retired?
never lost. 31 years old. And he said the reason was his mum didn't like fighting. He goes, it was my dad's dream. He goes, my mum doesn't want me fighting anymore. I don't fight no more.
And he goes, what is he going to do now?
Probably coach. But that's
the crazy thing about it. But is that the only reason why he did that and built to be like that is because he's old man, and that's the influence that connection from a son to a father has. He might not have even wanted to do it and stuff.
In the interview, at the end, he never said once it was my dream. He said to be UFC champion, to be the best fighter in the world. It was my dad's dream. It was my dad's dream. He goes, my mum doesn't want me fighting, and I must respect that. I never fight now. Thank you. That was how he ended it.
He wins the title.
When did he say that?
That's after the fight he won.
When?
So it was a massive fight last Sunday.
A while ago. Oh, last Sunday.
On Sunday. It was Sunday.
And that's it. He's not going to fight anymore.
Well,
but he's made enough money.
But
he's made money, yeah?
This is what I think is going to happen.
I know.
Anyone but him, I would say it's a hype train. How Khabib is, it's actually respectful. But what's going to happen? Because he's still going through. Remember, he just lost his dad, he's been coaching for years. He's having withdrawals. His mum doesn't want him to fight, but this is all he knows. So what's going to happen? He's going to go away. He doesn't know what to do. His mum's going to probably want him to fight again, and then he'll be back in a year, 2 years.
The main thing...
But you have to watch him fight to see how good this guy is.
The main thing...
How much money do these guys get per fight?
He got 10 mil for that fight.
Oh, so it's a lot of money like boxing, is it?
Not for everyone. For the main people, for instance, Conor McGregor, your Khabibs. Who else is a good example?
Adesanya.
No, he doesn't get big money.
Well,
he doesn't get
Masvidal now.
Masvidal, nah.
Nah, Conor and him. That's it.
Well, yeah, that's about it. And Ronda Rousey when she was fighting.
And the best part was at the end, which it was so funny because I was looking at the pound for pound rankings before that, and I was with my mate going, "Who the fuck's number one if
John
Khabib
Jones
isn't?" And after the interview, like he's a Russian, stern. He goes, "Hey, pay some respect and make me number one pound for pound fighter. I'm 29 and 0."
Do you think
they
he is?
Changed it. Without a doubt, he is.
He's pound for pound
and deserved, without a doubt. Especially how he upholds.
I think
you're going to give it to John Jones.
The reason, I agree. It's Khabib, but the reason why I don't give it to John Jones is because of the PEDs.
That's right, but
the only reason why you can take it off him, right?
So
it's like it's the same GOAT talk for NBA.
Okay, but you think Khabib?
Like who's your
you
GOAT?
Think John Jones better than Khabib?
Absolutely, yeah. Besides the fact the drug test came back negative, positive. Like
you think he's more but how do you justify that? What's your reason? Like, in what way is he better? Is his style more easy to watch? But if you're talking about you get these guys in a ring versus him, Khabib's a lot more dominant. So how is he? I know he's not as exciting, but how can you argue that?
He's dominant. Yeah, I'll wait till you get back.
I can edit it after.
The reason that I would say, actually, an easy way to put it is the way that I would look. What's the sport that you follow the most? I'll sit over here.
Well, I like all sports, but Yeah, UFC I don't know much about. I love boxing. I used to like
you watch
soccer,
boxing?
football, but I don't like that anymore.
Do you watch?
And
do
I
you
like
watch
footy, NRL, AFL, cricket. Yeah.
Do you watch boxing now?
Sometimes when there's a good fight on, yeah.
Like, do you know who Lomachenko is?
Yeah, I've heard of him, yeah.
And he just lost. Did you see that? Lomachenko?
I definitely did. That was weird.
You're going to
Right.
swap seats now, you guys?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. That now shifting into the boxing talk.
Lopez deserves that, but
Lomachenko versus what's his first name?
Lopez deserves that.
His name's not Lopez, is it?
The guy Loma lost to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lopez.
What's his first
I don't know
name?
his first name, but I know it's Lopez.
Anyway, crazy.
Yeah, but-
Absolutely insane.
Loma come out too arrogant,
No,
giving him too much rounds.
the
You could
re-
tell he was rusty.
yeah, the reason Lomachenko lost was because he didn't do anything till the 7th round.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
The
It comes to this is what it was. It was he gives people a couple of rounds. It's the 1 and 2, and he suzzes them out. But then it got to 3 and 4, and Lopez actually started whacking him, and then he didn't know how to beat him. And then it got to, before you know, it was 6th round. Lopez had 6, and then it was only 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th that he really come out. But
What about the scorecards?
No, that was bullshit.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, that was okay. Fair enough. The scorecards. I would probably give it 7 to 5. 7 to 5. Definitely 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, Loma. 12th and Lopez, credit to him.
Yeah, I give it 7 to 5 as well.
Lopez, credit to him. He came out the last round, everything, and he won it. And that's what
tipped
convinced it.
That's what
That's
tipped
what
it.
going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Loma had to win that to even get a semi-arguable decision that he even got a draw or a win. Because then you might go, but
those
Lopez
cards-
come out.
Those cards were crazy, bro.
No, it was bull. That's the thing about boxing, though, man.
And that's what I was saying to you.
fucking
That's what I was saying to you
bullshit.
before. And that's the Panthers argument, right? Storm's like the heavyweight, and they're like Storm's the champion,
Mm-hmm.
and then Panthers are like that contender,
Up
or
and
like
coming.
The up and coming. The only way for you to win a boxing fight against someone that holds belts is knocking them out.
Yeah.
You can't leave it up to the judges, and everyone knows that in boxing because it's so rigged.
No, it is a thing.
It's crazy.
It's a thing. It's saying to beat the champion, you have to
You have to actually beat him,
be convincingly.
not by the judges.
A 50-50 is a draw. No, a 50-50 is a champ.
The beer.
And it's even known in UFC. It's actually a thing. To beat the champion, you have to.
A thing of the thing.
A
thing
good
is a thing.
example is Adesanya versus Ramiro.
Yeah, but Rivera's an idiot.
There's no way
Exactly.
if you go off points,
Ramirez a fucking idiot.
Ramiro won.
He's a dick.
But he won,
no,
right?
he did not.
How not?
He didn't do anything.
Wait,
What do you
how
mean he
you-
won? Adesanya leg kicked him the fucking shit. He actually didn't do anything.
Leg kicked him. It's 5 rounds.
Yeah, but what did Ramiro do?
But what did Adesanya do?
He leg kicked him. He did something. That's what I'm saying.
Yep, he did that from the 3rd round onwards though. The first 2 rounds.
You got to take it to the champ.
the first 2 rounds, you give it to Ramiro. He had
I don't.
big moments
I don't.
in those fights.
I didn't.
Look, it was a terrible fight. I don't think he deserved the belt at all.
But what was he? Honestly, forget about our opinions.
It's weird.
Forget about it. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Forget about our opinions. What was going through Ramiro's mind when he got that shot at that time? What was his plan to come out? Like, I just don't actually understand what was happening. Did he get told
I think-
to not beat him, to
I think
keep
he got-
Adesanya on the
no, I
title?
think he got shook by the way Adesanya beat Whittaker.
Didn't want to get knocked out, so he...
You're going up. Whittaker fought Ramiro twice. Whittaker fought Ramiro twice and beat him both times, right? And Ramiro couldn't knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, right? This dude's got the chin of the gods, right? And then you got if you stand side by side Ramiro and Adesanya, and you say which one of these two dudes are gonna knock Whittaker out, you're gonna be like the dude that looks like a fucking shampoo bottle. He's got no fucking neck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
bullshit.
Dude is built like it's insane. And then
Okay.
and then not only does Adesanya knock him out, he knocks him out pretty much twice in the same fight.
Let me ask you something. I'm about to switch it up. Whittaker. You watched Whittaker Adesanya? Tell me now, if you've been watching Whittaker fight lately, does Whittaker have a shot at Adesanya if he gets the next shot at the title?
I think he does get the next shot at the title.
I think he does.
I think he does.
I think he'll do better than he did last time. But does he beat Adesanya?
The only person that doesn't get the respect that they deserve in the UFC is Robert Whittaker.
No,
Dude's
you reckon?
a fucking animal.
Yeah, he is. But how do you mean he doesn't get respect?
Like, for instance, if you said before Adesanya was the title holder, you say who's middleweight, who's the champ middleweight, but everyone would be like, I don't know, Darren Till, Masvidal. You know what I mean? That's
not a bad fighter, but Darren Till.
Yeah, great.
I actually rate him. I actually thought he was going to do better than he did against Whittaker.
Yeah,
he's actually. I think,
and Whittaker put him away.
Yeah, and he did. I think.
And then Cannonier, another crazy fighter,
and Whittaker made mincemeat. Yeah, you're right. But underestimated, all rounder.
This is the thing. Whittaker got no respect for being champ. He fought Romero twice, and yeah, he was dog-legged in the first fight, and it was like, yeah, that was dodgy. However, he took the second fight. No one wants to fight this shampoo bottle. It's like fighting a fucking tree that hits you back though. The dude is insane. They done test on the guy and they were just like, what the fuck is that? That's not even a human being. Do you know what I mean? He's like a robot.
Yeah, he looks like he should be on the road.
Sean Connery died.
No. Fuck. Well, we could be the first live talk about it.
There's no way he actually died.
Wow. No, he's dead.
From how?
Breaking news. Sean Connery, Oscar winner and James Bond star, dies at 90.
Wow.
He's 90? Sean Connery's 90. When did they film
Wow,
when did they film
what's
Boondock Saints? Sean Connery's in Boondock Saints.
No, you're thinking of Bill Colony.
Same dude. Same guy. That's the guy that's on the IMDb.
You're thinking of those. No, Sean Connery's the old James Bond. Or his voice was
Shaken Not Stirred.
Shaken.
Is that Sean?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Shaken Not Stirred. That's Sean Connery.
He's Skunks, old school Skunks.
Yeah.
Listen, all condolences go out to you and your family. You've given a lot to the entertainment industry, and
however, you also got confused with Bill Connery. So,
however, Bill's a bit better.
Yeah, 100%. He did Boondock Saints. Where were you? You lived a good life.
Oh yeah,
bro. Like
imagine being Sean. Okay,
bro,
imagine being Sean Connery in the
60s
or 70s.
You made it to
70s.
But not only that, he did all that shit.
2010. But Sean Connery,
bro, he did all that shit.
Shaken Not Stirred.
That's insane. When did Elvis die?
Is he the greatest Bond ever? Well, he is now. Has to be. You're not gonna say no. Don't say no.
Well, a lot of people like
Who's
him.
Who's the best Batman? Christian Bale.
Yeah. Okay. Just because of technology and the way they do movies now. How do you go past the Dark Knight series with Bane and Joker, obviously, especially with the Joker.
I feel
you have to. It's not even
Heath
him.
Ledger, insane.
It's not. Yeah, it's not even him. It's the whole thing.
I feel like you're saying the same thing with who's the best Joker. You have to say Heath Ledger because he died.
No, he's the best.
But he is
regardless.
The best.
But okay, is he better than Joaquin Phoenix?
Different movie, completely different movie. If Heath Ledger had his own movie in the same situation,
you know what? But hey, think about this though. Put this in perspective. Okay, Joaquin did
He had a whole. He had
it was revolved around him. He's a bit of a nut job. That was set for that. But Heath Ledger, it's still in the comic book phase, and he managed to turn that into that. If that listen. Anyone else but Heath Ledger in that Joker role, think about it. That movie is totally different. He made that movie.
Didn't Danny DeVito do one, or was that Penguin?
Yeah. Penguin. But think about it. Actually, think about it. Yeah, they say Heath Ledger role, but think about anyone else in that role. That whole movie changes. The scenes, the way he carries.
You can't compare.
And the worst
Phoenix. You can't compare Phoenix to Heath Ledger because.
No, you can't.
Look at the way that you have a whole movie to connect to one character, and you have these split scenes to connect to Heath Ledger's Joker. So it's a completely different situation.
And here's another point. Here's another point. Joker with Joaquin is built up for the Joker. You're made to love him. Batman, you're made to love Batman, but you end up loving the Joker. Like how good, you know what I mean? He's transitioned this to this, and you know what I mean? It was, for Joaquin, it was set up. Okay, they knew they had the basis of Joker, this evil guy you love. But there's one thing to go off someone and make it your own, but to change the whole transition of comic book for kids into this sophisticated,
same
like that's his genius.
It's the same with
That
Tom.
is what genius is.
Same
And and if you hear the stories, how he turned, like, he locked himself in the room. He became actually the Joker. It's actually sent him mad. You could see it. You can't play that role.
It's the same as Tom Hardy's Bane, right?
And
Tom Hardy's Bane. He killed. You couldn't even tell it was him.
I didn't know it was him until someone told me.
Well, I told Maddie. I was like, oh well.
You seen the second one?
What's that? Dark Knight Rises.
I love that. The best quote. When he's fighting Batman, he goes, you think the darkness is your ally. Because, he's used to, he goes, and obviously Bane's more evil. He's more evil than Batman. He's like Batman, but actually.
What does he say? He goes,
I was born in it, raised by it.
Yeah, he goes,
You merely adopted the dark.
You merely
I was born in it.
Yeah, fuck, what a quote.
insane. What a quote.
I love that.
Insane. But that's the thing. Like,
But does it beat this? You want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night, he went off crazier than usual.
And how sweaty is he in that scene? But how sweaty, and it's not, and the best part is that's not the.
So, he got his knife.
No, the pencil. That pencil.
I'm going to show you a magic trick.
Smacked his head in the pencil. That was
No, but he's actual genius. How
and he didn't even.
And yeah.
But it's not the story.
And
Because he says the same. He says the same line, a different story to someone else.
And the way he's the best part of the Joker, he's got no superpowers, but the way he actually manipulates everything is the most genius. For example, the boat, when they've both got the switch, but none of them have this, none of them have it. Like they put it up to them, or even as simple. I was thinking this is the most genius thing. As simple as telling the opposite of where the girl was. It was so simple. The two people were locked up in the bombs, Harvey Dent and the girl.
No, that wasn't.
And
that wasn't that one.
You don't have time to say one. And this how genius.
Bro, that wasn't the Joker.
No, it was.
No, it was the dude that flipped the coin.
No, the Joker goes, this one's street. Trust me, he's in the cop station.
No, I can tell you right now, it's not him. It's the dude that burned his face. That's in Bane.
Listen. It's the choice between the girl and Harvey Dent. He becomes Two-Face after that explosion. Because what happens is he's there getting beaten. He's a genius. He's got both there. Tell me where he is. And he goes, okay. He's at here and he's at here. And he obviously goes.
I thought it was.
He goes there, opens it, sees Harvey Dent. Fucking.
It wasn't the Two-Face dude. It was her, or the actual cop.
No, it was. Remember, before Two-Face, it was the mayor.
Yeah.
Joker had the mayor.
Who's the cop?
Wait.
Who's the cop that did the bat signals and shit?
No, commissioner. No,
it was him and the chick.
No, you're wigging. No.
Am I frying out between two movies?
Listen. Okay.
He was too.
The Harvey Dent and the Batman's girlfriend were seeing each other.
Yeah, okay.
So remember they were talking on the phone.
The cop came after that, hey?
Yeah.
And then he had.
But it's genius because remember the cops were trying to find out, and he's bashing Joker. He's like, oh, and you got to watch the film of that because he actually punched Heath Ledger. He asked to be hit. Yeah. Have you heard that?
No.
Oh, in that scene, he actually asked to be punched.
Did you also hear? Did you also hear when he's walking away from the hospital?
And
the bomb didn't go off.
Yeah.
That's insane. And he's sitting there going, and they kept it in.
Yeah.
And that's a big scene too.
Yeah,
that's a monumental scene for that movie.
You need humour with a Joker. You need humour. And he provided that. But the thing is that
goes to show how much in the role he was. It was like him
But there's two things here. I mean, with that movie, there was a big shift from how the comic series was represented. You know, from the 60s and the 70s and the Joker of Jack Nicholson in the 80s and so forth. So it was actually a good script. It's a lot easier for an actor, for a good actor, to act within a movie once the script is good. So you gotta hand it to the writers.
Who directed the Christian Bale ones?
Genius. That's who.
There's a guy
I forgot his name, but it's more about the story, the writers. So this guy, whoever directed it, took it up to direct because they realized that the story. It's always about the story. It doesn't matter if it's about Batman or it's about a penguin,
That's right, yeah.
or it's about.
But they said Christian Bale. I read a thing on Christian Bale saying, I don't know if it was the writer or the director. He said the director or the writer or whoever said to Christian Bale, we could do a third one and fuck it, or we could leave it at the 2.
As a legacy.
We could leave it at the 2 and keep it as the best movies ever. Or we can do a third.
But they did
and
3,
ruin
didn't they?
No.
No, they did 2.
Dark Knight was just...
And then...
Dark Knight Rises with Christian.
And that was it.
That was the
I thought it was a trilogy.
No, they ended it after that, and they approached Christian Bale without that director or whoever it was. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it because he told me not to do it.
I'm going to show you something.
Good choice.
And that's the reason why he goes down as the best Batman.
Yeah.
You can't argue it.
Yeah,
There's absolutely no argument for Christian Bale. He just fucking
It
nailed
is the best Batman, but that's also because he had the best script and he had the best style of writing. Plus, he had the best Joker. So you got to remember, a lot of actors respond to the other actor. It's very hard when you have disparity in actors. So if one actor is far better than the other one, it's really hard for them to get in the zone. So they had the script and they had the style. So that's that. But I didn't think that there could be a better Joker until I saw Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. But it's a different movie. It's not even about the Joker. It's just a psychological thriller. But Heath Ledger would have done that role beautifully as well because he's a great actor. I saw him in Brokeback Mountain. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Insane.
But he's just an incredible actor. He was an incredible actor. So he could pull off pretty much anything as long as the story is good. And both those movies, the story are great.
Hey, I want to show you something that just come to my head then. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but I'm going to show you quickly. So this photo was taken mid-set and it come out after.
You got the one with the
skateboard?
Yes.
Have you seen it? Okay. I'll show you again, but when you're talking about it, it's not just the photo, it's the situation. And if you remember this scene about when he's driving, Joker wanted to die. He's going, come on, go straight. And they're going head to head. And he just knew, he goes, please, come on, go straight at me, kill me, come on. And they get that. He goes, come on, hit me. And
wonderful scene.
And Batman, because he's Batman, pulls out. And Heath Ledger actually goes, he's pissed off, and he gets out the car. He wanted him to get him. And he's actually, that's perfect. Anyway, this is the photo, but look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Because he was a skateboarder, Heath. Doesn't it take? So it's a photo. This is a real photo from the set. They reckon it's the greatest movie photo ever taken.
Is that Christian Bale?
That's Christian. No, it's on the set.
But that would have been just in between shots.
In between shots.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That was part 1 of the Margarita Hour 2020. Stay tuned for part 2 coming out very, very soon. I would say in about 7 days. Take care, my friends, and I bid you farewell for now, of course, from Private Universe. And remember, existence is a miracle.